Okay, to hope this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to revise with you chapter by chapter. This is the first of um, the for your end of the year revision. Now, for chapter one, basically there are a few parts that you need to take note. The first part is on simplification of linear equation. I'll go through that first. This is simplification. Now you got to understand that there is no equation in this. It's just an expression where you will simplify. I'll give you one example. Now, this is how it works. When you see my example, you should pause the video and then you try it out by yourself and then you check your answers with mine. Uh, let's try the first example. Half x plus 1/4 x. Now, you can pause and you can try this by yourself. Okay, good. When you realize this, that it's a simple fractional variables with fractional coefficients, all you need to do is just use your calculator. Just press half in your calculator plus 1/4, and then you get the answer is 3/4, and then you just put 3/4x. That's it. Okay. The few things that I thought maybe I can highlight over here. The first thing is this is exactly is equals to 3x/4. This x, you can either place it on top or you can place it at the side, but you cannot place it at the bottom. You cannot place it at the bottom. This is wrong. When it's at the side, it means it is either on top or it's at the side. Can? Okay. Let's go through another example, example 2. This time we will try something a little bit more complicated. How about 1/4 x minus 3/4 plus 7/8 x minus 1/4? Simplify this. Actually, I can change this to y and y. Can you try and simplify this? If you notice, I use the word simplify. I don't use the word solve. So simplification, there's no equal sign. These are expressions. And then you just use your calculator for the common terms and then combine them together. Okay, good. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to just look at the common terms. I see a 1/4 x here and I see a plus 7/8x. The sign, you have to look for the sign before the term. And in this case, if there's nothing, then we will take it to be plus. So I will take 1/4 plus 7/8, and then I get the answer as 9/8x. Similarly, let's look in terms of y. This is a negative and this is a negative. So in your calculator, press -3/4 minus 1/4. And then you got under minus 1, so the answer is minus y. That's it. Okay, we'll try one more question on this on simplification. The next example that you will get is this. Let me just pick this. Example 3. Let's simplify this. X/4 plus 7x minus 1/3. Simplify this. Again, pause if you need to, and you try it out by yourself. Okay, good. If you recall in your primary school, you used to have this kind of fraction 3/4 plus 1/8. How do you add this up? You make the denominator common. Okay? You should approach in the same way. In this case, make the denominator common, but you got to remember in class, I've mentioned to you many times, you got to take note one thing. Whenever you want to combine two expressions like this, always remember to put a bracket. Okay? This bracket, especially when it will help you whenever you multiply, whenever it may change sign depending on if this is a negative sign. So in this case, the common denominator is, I would say, is 12. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to multiply by 3 here and multiply by 3 here. If you multiply below, you need to multiply on top. I'm going to multiply by 4, and I'm going to put 4 in front. And combine the denominator as 12. And over here, we have 3x plus 4, 7x minus 1. So if I were to expand this further, I have 3x plus. Remember, whenever you expand a bracket, you need to multiply for both sides, and this becomes, let me just change back the color, and this becomes 28x minus 4. 3x minus 28x is equal 3x plus 28x is actually 31x minus 4 over 12. That's the answer. At this point, I thought maybe I highlight to you a common mistake students make. Students have this mistake that 2x plus 4 divided by 2. They have this common mistake understanding that, I can cancel this 2 with this 2. Always remember you cannot cancel unless you factorize the numerator because of the plus sign. Okay, just bear this in mind. Okay, good. I'm going to go on to one more final example on this, and then I'm going to go to the part on solving equations. You may notice that my revision will take a slightly faster pace. So, but this is a video you can pause at any time and then you can rewind and try to redo it again. Let's do one more example, but this time with a negative sign. Let me do example 4. Okay, 3x minus 1 over 2 minus 2x plus 1 over 3. Simplify this. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to solve this. Again, the first thing is what I'm going to do is that I'm going to find a common denominator. 2 and 3, the common denominator is 6. So I'm going to multiply by 3 and I'm going to multiply by 2. But this time, remember to put a bracket, put a 2. You need to put the bracket, if not, you'll get it wrong. So what will happen is that the denominator is 6, no change. So 3 times 3 is 9, x minus 1 minus 2, 2x plus 1. Once you get to this stage, the rest is quite simple already. I'm going to divide it by 6. This becomes 9x minus 9 minus 4x minus 2. Remember the negative and the positive. This negative and positive, the sign will change to negative. And the final answer is just 5x minus 11. Okay, good. I'm going to go to the next one, which is chapter 1.2. I'm following the textbook quite closely, so you can take reference on the textbook. 1.2 is on solving linear equations. Solving linear equations. There are a couple of things you got to take note. For example, a simple one, 3x plus 2 equals to 5. This is not an example. A very quick one. Whenever you shift any number across the equal sign, the sign will change. So in this case, 3x equals to 5 minus 2, 3x equals to 3, and then you divide by 3 both sides to get rid of the 3x equals to 1. Then, okay, with this in mind, let me just erase this and let me get started on an example in this particular topic. Okay, let's try this particular example. 1/3 x minus 3 is equals to 7. So what you have is, first you must bring the minus 3 to the right hand side. So 1/3 x, it's actually minus 3 when you go to the other side, become plus 3. So yeah, this is example, I think if I'm not wrong, it's example 5. So 1/3 x equals to 10. Now how to get rid of this? There are a couple of ways. I'll show you two ways. The first way is 1/3 x equals to 10. What you can do is divide both sides by 1/3. Get rid of the 1/3. And then if you use your calculator, you'll get x equals to 30. This is one way. Another way you can use a cross multiplication method, which I taught in class. X over 3 is basically the same as x. 1/3 x is x over 3. Remember I told you x can be at the side or on the top. And 10 is exactly 10 over 1. So what you can do is you can cross multiply. If you remember, when you cross multiply, this will go up and this will go up here. So finally what will happen is x times 1 is x, 3 times 10 is 30. Actually, the cross multiplication is something that you should get used to. Let me go on to another example. Example 6 or 7. Yeah, it should be 5, 6. Yeah. This question is 6 over 3x minus 2 is 2 over 3. You can try this by yourself. Okay, like I said, you see a fraction and fraction, you can use cross multiplication. This multiplication will go up. And let me use another color for this. This multiplication will go up. So you have 6 times 3, which is 18, and then you have 2, 3x minus 2. So 18 is actually equals to 6x minus 4. 6x is 18 plus 4. 6x is 22. X is 22 over 6. Now you must always leave your answer in the simplest form, 11 over 3. Always leave your answer in mixed numbers. So in this case, this is 3 2/3. Are you okay so far? And the last part of chapter 1 is on inequalities. Okay, I'm going to do a very quick inequality, which is 1.3. Okay, you saw a couple of things you need to take note. Let me just take example 7. If you have 3x is greater than 1, when you divide by a positive sign, when you divide by 3 on both sides, this sign will not change. So x is greater than 1/3. If, however, you divide by negative sign, for example, minus 3x is greater than 1. When you divide by negative sign, negative 3 on both sides, the sign will have to change. X is negative 1/3. This is the key thing that you got to take note. The next thing that you got to take note is on a number line. If I were to ask you to draw x greater than 3 and x greater or equals to 3, the number line will be like this. Just draw 3. Because there's no equal sign, just draw a circle and then draw an arrow. X greater than or equals to 3, just put a 3, but this time it should be a dot because of the equal sign, and then you do this. So this is the number line that you need to know. Of course, for this particular question, there are some things that you got to take note. There are problem sums to be solved. Okay, I'll just go through one example so that you know. Example 8. 4x is greater than minus 8. Can you try and solve this by yourself? So what you do is divide both sides by x. Divide by both sides by 4. So x is greater than minus 8 over 4. So you get x is greater than minus 2. Remember, I don't change the sign now because I divided by 4. I did not divide by a negative sign. I divided by a positive 4. Let's try another example. Minus 8x is greater than 0. This time what do? I divide by negative 8 on both sides. So the sign has to change. So the answer is x is less than 0 because 0 divided by negative 8 is still 0. Okay, that summarizes chapter 1. My advice to you is try your workbook questions as well as questions in your textbook.